Hi everyone, it's Shane from Hanlon's here for another Maintenance Monday. So today we're going to continue on our series on how to set your windrower. Today we're going to work on grass, whether you're working with fescue or timothy or some kind of a mixed grass. We'll go through the settings on your windrower.
So where we're going to start is on the main screen here, and what you'll do is you'll just press the tractor button to make sure that you're back there. So we've got our header RPM, we've got our auto cut percentage, of course our diagnostic gauges. This is your flotation pressure, your header tilt, and then this is the position of your header, and the green line there is where it cuts in and starts to record acres for those of you that do acres. So top right hand corner, you got rabbit turtle. That's pretty straightforward. You push the button, it comes up and it tells you which gear, right? You're going to cut in first gear normally. Your auto steer will only work in first and second gear, and then of course if your windrower is equipped with rear steer, you already know how to use that. You push the button, it tells you to drive ahead for 30 or 40 feet till it gets everything synchronized, and away you go down the road at 24.5 miles an hour. So that takes care of the first screen there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to press the tractor with a wrench, because we always come up with issues of remembering. So the first one is return to cut. So when you have that box checked, as soon as you hit your down switch, then the header drops automatically to the ground. The second one is auto flotation. This is 9870 and newer cutters that have that. This one here is one that's often checked by a new operator, and then you can't get your header to lift. What this does, if it's checked, is it dumps the flotation pressure on the header. So you don't want a check mark in that box. And then if your windrower was so equipped, auto cut control, right? And then you engage it. Next one down is the sensitivity on your steering. The one below that is the amount of tension that is on the steering, and that takes care of that screen.
Then we're going to go across and touch the header with the wrench, and we're going to adjust our header speed. So we're going to roll the dial. A good starting point in grass, because there's not really a lot of chance to damage that grass, is we're going to start about 2250, and then you can move up from there. So roll the dial, select the box, roll it up to 2250. As you can see, our flotation is still in auto, and today, just because of the temperature, we're at 1400. So we're going to hit that escape button, and now we have our header set. There's really nothing else that we have to do. You're going to leave all the rest of the settings the same. So then we get out of the windrower, and we're going to come out and we're going to set our flotation pressure. That one we're going to want to bump up from the 600 that we were working at, and we're going to want to go to 1000. So again, you're going to unlock the green valve, you're going to increase it, then lock it, and you want to be around 1000 psi on that gauge. So that'll give you a good starting point. One caution there, you don't want to run much over 1000 psi on that gauge. We get to some machines where it's significantly higher. You don't really get any extra crimping once you go over 1000, but you do end up putting a lot of extra strain on the drive shafts and on the roll bearings. And what we're seeing is premature roll bearing failure, sometimes a roll shaft. But so just stick around 1000, start from there.
The next thing that you want to check is your skid shoe setting, and of course if it was good last year, it'll probably be good this year. A great place to start is in the bottom hole and the second hole of the skid shoe itself. This one is in the top and the center.
Somewhere in the middle of the road is where you want to start, and then of course you want to have your bed tilted back to 0, and then go and make a cut and see what your cutting height is and adjust from there.
the first thing you want to do is adjust those skid shoes on the back of the header and then start tilting the header in, because the more angle of tilt that you have on that header, the more scalping you do in your field, and also the more chance you have of picking up some kind of a foreign object and causing damage. So the next place that we need to adjust, and a good place to start, is on the swath board. And so where you want to have that is either on the second or the third hole. The idea is that you want to have that material shooting back to the back of the forming shields, and of course this is just a guideline, so to get it going straight back there. And then the other thing that you want to do is adjust your forming shields, the height on that back shield. And a good place to start is either 2 or 3 links sticking out forward. That will get that shield pretty level. So the idea is you also want to open up the side forming shield there and get your windrow out as wide as possible, because most guys are shooting for 4.5, 5 foot windrows, just enough to get the rake tractor in between the windrows. So open those up as wide as possible. Just make sure that you snug up those nuts, because they do come loose if you don't tighten them up, and then they fall off the machine and they're gone forever. So the last thing you want to check is you want to go back and you want to make sure that this tailboard is pointing towards the ground as far down as possible. Basically what's happening is that material's coming off the rolls, coming all the way to the back, hitting this tailboard, and then falling down by gravity and stacking, and then that gives you that nice square windrow that you've come to know on the Massey cutter or the Heston cutter.
Go ahead.
So just to recap, we want to go into the monitor, we want to set our header speed at 2250. We want to bump our conditional pressure up to 1000 psi, and then set your forming shields just like before. And if you want a wider swath, you're going to have to set that swath board in a lower position so that it blows that swath out if you're trying to shoot for 6 feet or 7 feet or 8 feet. Hopefully that helps you out. Thanks for watching.